friend Rafa Sparza coming to you live right now. It is 4:26 Best Coast time, and it is time to have a nice recap of all things WrestleMania. Because no, we're on the road to WrestleMania. It just feels like we start the road so quickly it already happened because we already knew the storylines, because we already knew Brock Lesnar was going to win, and we already knew that Ronda Rousey was going to make her way back into the dubs. And yes, there's a lot to talk about here, but before we even get to those topics, let's say hello to my friend, Senor Mike Stallings. Mike, how are you doing, sir?
I am good, Raph. I am sped up. I am caught up. I am ready to get up this road. Do we speed on this road? That's what's going on. I think we're so enamored with speeding and not going the speed limit that's what kind of
Well, I
happened.
thought that's what you get in the fast lane for.
Ooh, they don't do even do that
They don't do
anymore.
that anymore. I think they're going to rebrand it in a few years, especially when Disney ends up buying them. They're just going to call it Fast Pass. Look, it's a Fast Pass for WrestleMania. I won the Money in the Bank. Oh, you didn't get the Fast Pass. Womp womp.
It's
Can't
it's
challenge for the
actually
title now.
it's actually very good. That is actually very good. It can consolidate a lot of space. It would be a little easier to probably grab off of a hook, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta
It's really
you put
sad because
an envelope.
it really actually siphons things down to them just waiting in a line for their turn. It's like, oh, is it going to happen for me this year? Well, shit, man. I'm in a line. How
I think they
many
just need.
is Randy ahead of
I
me?
think I think they should just get away. I think that's the problem. Is that they announce who's in it. I'd rather it be more random. They should be in my head. They should be like you said, opening the envelope or maybe getting a fast. Brock didn't even get his fast pass. He didn't even need it. He was already. I guess he's already. What's that secret club at Disney that you can only that if you pay so much money, the
The
Club
Club
54 or
Disney,
some
where they're just like, yeah. Dude, I remember being a kid and being in the bus, and somebody got pulled over for shoplifting. So the whole bus had to stay at Disneyland a little extra. And I remember being like, oh no, that's so sad. Go give them the full punishment of the law while I get back on Space Mountain. Thank you.
for the fourth. No, would people if they did a photo shoot at Disneyland and one they had dual photo shoots and one was Mickey Mouse and the other was Brock Lesnar, would there what line would be bigger?
I mean, the one where Paul Heyman probably is because there's something to behold here.
No, he's in the middle of them. You don't know which side he's on. You don't know if he's with Mickey or if he's with Brock. So that's the kind of whole you find out. You get little clues along when you stand in the queue. You know what I mean? They bring you up to date,
That
and
would be
then
great. Instead of
the
hidden
big
Mickeys, it's
reveal,
just hidden Pauls all around.
and it's your fault, and then they take a picture of it.
Okay, Mike. Okay, you did the board, so there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. But before we get to the board, is there something you wanted to talk about that is not on the board, but that may be pressing to be urgently discussed before we get to it?
Um, not well. You can't put me on the spot like that. I mean, I just talked to you about how I got two idols. Well, I call it the then and now. Ricky Rackman posted something about coffee, and Danhausen had done a limited run with Rootless Coffee. So I tweeted at Ricky Rackman, who is the host of Headbangers Ball, who since I've been watching my whole life because I'm very metal, very evil. So I just tweeted Rootless, a collab would be very nice, very metal. And I got roasted, quote unquote, by Ricky Rackman telling me how if he ever wanted to do a coffee, he would be hands on and he would be involved in the bean picking and the roasting and everything. So thanks, but no thanks. And I said respect. Oh no, he said I know they work with the at Danhausen AD, all in blue. He tagged him. And so I said, okay, respect. And then Danhausen tweeted back at him, hey, look, man, they're pretty hands on. They'll give you a tour. They're very nice. They help me every step of the way. And that kind of started blowing up. Like a couple hundred people were liking that quote. And then Ricky Rackman quote tweeted that said, thanks, Dan, because they're on that name of a basis. Great to see you in AEW. So not clout chasing, but the whole fact that I put that my dumb brain put that thought into the ether was a pretty big. You get Twitter wins. The Young Bucks liked one of my tweets once, and I was like, the serotonin level flies through the roof. Oh man, you're checking it. Is anybody nobody I know follows me on Twitter. I don't know how to Twitter, so. But yeah, there's nothing. I mean, the only thing pressing about the Royal Rumble was the anticipation of the Rumble. It's almost like Christmas. You look forward to it. Win, lose, or draw, that you're good. It could be the best gimmick ever created in wrestling. I mean, I don't care what's going on that ring. When that countdown happens, you're looking through the curtain, you're yelling Michelle McCool 10 fucking times like my brother did, because I guess that was just the trope. I remember one time I kept on yelling Johnny Nitro, and Shawn Michaels came out, and some kid. I don't want to tell you that it was on the spectrum. That's neither here nor there. But
Hey, I want to tell you that I had a little
That's Shawn Michaels!
I had a little bit of a brain fart here on the description that I'm just looking at right now. I saw the hashtags. Normally, YouTube, you have 3 hashtags that go on. And I think I meant to say, join in as we talk about that and discuss Mike's hot take. And it was supposed to say Brock Lesnar, but impulsively I put Hulk Hogan. And I think it's because you made a Jabroni and Iron Sheik reference at some point. And I go, oh no, I don't know that you have a hot take on Hulk Hogan that even merits on the Scoville scale of takes on Hulk Hogan.
How does Hulk Hogan just to this day just have to have a shine time now? I don't know. They're going to bring it back at some point again, aren't they? Yeah. Anyway, back to the Rumble.
Yes.
This is the story of a Rumble. After the second match, it took a little tumble after Rebecca did her point at the sign, and then fire evacuations when they point. Is my segue into the board, Ralph.
Yeah, no, it's a good segue. I just wanted to let you know we don't have clearance for that song, so I'm very nervous about what happens.
Not even the harmony?
No, especially not the harmony. Because before you could get away with saying, like, it's a parody of it. And they go, okay, cool. Well, don't do the harmony. Don't do our signature harmony. And here we are being like...
Their version goes, dun, 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 dun. My version goes... Dun 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 dun. So I don't know what we're talking. It's semantics at this point, sir.
Here's the great part about that is I'm surprised nobody remixed that segment from behind the music and made that a tune and then had to go, can't get me now. I'm just going off of vanilla ice cream over here. All right.
I can't wait. Who's playing him in that movie?
Oh God, that's a great question. All I know is this: we're at the age now where they're doing biopics on all the people that we grew up on. So when they were doing the Bobby Brown story, I go, oh, age happened. They were New Edition, and now they're not.
It's funny you say that, because the other day Bobby Lashley was wearing a suit very reminiscent to Bobby Brown Don't Be Cruel album cover. But the shade was off just a touch, and the turtleneck was a little too up that it didn't. And Bobby, he doesn't have a Gumby cut, so.
I'll tell you this much, though. I was very proud of Bobby Lashley's apparel yesterday. Yesterday at Raw. I thought that he looked, and I know this is a high compliment, but he was right up there with the drip god in UFC, who is Davison Figueiredo, who comes in with these jumpsuits that makes it look like you dressed Mighty Mouse in some Gucci Prada shit, and then said, like, go out there and do an interview. Because when he showed up yesterday, I go, that's a little Halloween-y, but you know what? I couldn't pull off that jacket.
I have a very consolidated same approach to yours, but, like, I thought, who the fuck wears that out? It was all that I thought. The minute I saw, not even, and it wasn't even trying to be mean. I was just like, you mean to tell me I'm at the Hard Rock, and this guy's walking around, you're either thinking, there's only two things. I don't even want to go through what you're thinking because it's kind of mean, but back to what you were saying about the drip, at what point does somebody try to come out with a clothing line that actually drips for the drip? Like a little hypercolor, maybe there's a little pump in it with little induced sweat.
You're talking about the the BK pumps, or what is that? When you used to have to pump the shoe, but it's like
No,
just
they're
drip
Reebok,
on the
yeah.
actual
It
like
could be like
thing.
a Reebok pump and a Hypercolor crossover. I have a whole set of those. The worst toy, the worst WWF toys ever invented, the Maximum Sweats, where you put water in them and then you push the little button on the back and they sweat and they're all, oh, and they
Oh
sweat water.
God.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah,
Those are they got drip, fool.
they
What
did
up?
get drip.
We
Yeah.
went, shit. Fool. Anyway, I tried to segue to the board
You
with the
did try to
song.
segue to the board, and I wanted to go there, but then you kept dropping all these other gems, and I had to keep commenting on them, especially
No,
to the
you
point
were-
where I think in the old times, those sweats were meant to drip out the steroids so that you couldn't get
Flirting.
caught. So,
Flirting with Bobby Lash. Come on.
hey, here we go. Here's the board. Oh, God. I
Uh-oh.
don't know what any of this fully means, but I'll work with you here. Why don't we start this? I'm putting 3 minutes on the clock. I'm going to let you do some work here, sir. We're going to see how we can speed through some of these, and if we can't, it's okay because we make the rules. But, sir, 3 minutes on the clock. What the fuck does India before Echo mean?
The greatest part of the whole show, maybe, was Seth Rollins doing the Shield entrance. And I forget when I say Sierra Hotel, I legitimately forget if I before E after C comes into play.
Okay.
On that, I always misquoted. But yeah, I before E except after whatever that finish was that everybody's so mad about, man. Oh, that is I before E except after Heat.
Oh.
I got there. And I'm going to go with the unpopular stance on that. I loved that finish.
Okay.
That made sense. And especially with that one little line where he said, he made me do this. That makes sense. I don't know if some submissions make sense. I don't know if a Superman punch makes sense half the time that you're going to get a 3 off that one little jump punch. But him choking him out and not giving a fuck really, really made sense. And I really think it added to that storyline. I don't know why people are so enamored with having a clean finish all the time. It's probably because they do this a lot. But in this space, Ralph, I really think that it worked. What do you think?
I loved it, and in a similar way, because if nothing else, I'm going to see if I can overlay this in here. This photo did me in. Like, look at that photo. That photo tells a story. And I think it is hard to dispute that because it tells you, oh, wait, he didn't lose, but Roman was so possessed that by the proxy of pro wrestling rules, he can't win. And it breaks Roman's streak, which was going strong for a long time. So there is an implication there. And I think the part that's underwhelming to people is they're looking at the Brock Lesnar story and saying, like, okay, we have to get there logically. But this disrespects the idea that you brought up the Shield, and there's a whole payoff that we wanted on a long-term story here that we didn't get. But here's what I'm going to tell people. If you remotely think that you've seen the last chapter in their story, you're missing the point about the long-term storyline. So as soon as I saw this photo, because I was already in, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I actually like the way they told that story.
That was a good point. I was going to ask
that photo,
you,
I said, woo!
Do you think it ends the feud? Is it a placeholder for Brock? Because I don't think it should, but they've also had a long enough run to where it can be paused for a second, but always have the looming effect of them being around. And I think Kevin Owens is going to have something a lot more to do with whatever they go forward with these two, because it's pretty entertaining. That was I wanted Seth and Owens to co-win the Rumble, and them just have shenanigans about it the entire time, like how when I don't know who was fighting over but they shared a belt, or when Ed and Christian were trying to share the King of the Ring trophy.
Yes,
I would think that comic relief is good for that.
Well, excellent. We've hit our mark on those 3 minutes, but as we transition, I just want to say this. This is purely a cost-benefit analysis. It is easier to pay for Seth Rollins than it is to pay for Brock Lesnar. So I think that's part of the payoff that I think you're looking at there, because I think they're thinking like, oh, we can get Seth on discount. Like, it's fine. We got him at Costco. It's no problem. Brock Lesnar
into it
calls us
too.
that. And Seth,
Seth is genuinely into it.
absolutely. And I think that Seth also is having a blast with Kevin Owens. Them look like kids over on the side in school, gal palling around. Like, I'm into it. We got a note here from Daniel who says, "Nice hat, Mike."
That's right. SB represent. You see the brick behind me too? No, I'm not going to go full blown like that. But Danny's I've known Danny since second grade. So shout out to Miyagi, one of the sweetest swings in the game. That newspaper clipping. Anyway, that's not a segue, but
it's not a segue. But you know what is a segue? Going to our second topic, which is mothers. Mother's what? Mother's Day? What's so significant about this, Mike?
It was well, I heard an interesting stat, or I saw somebody tweet that we're proud of all the ladies that had kids and went back out there and did the drill. Then I started thinking about how many of them, and I was wondering if I was going to ask you off the top of your head, do you think it was half of the participants?
Oh, I don't think it was half, but I mean, there were definitely a lot of very happy moms who were very in the girl power mode that night. And that was a great stat. Yeah, I think it was Mick Foley who put it up. It's like, shout out all the moms. Can we say what a great moment this was for all the ladies? And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, absolutely we can. We can definitely celebrate that because, you know, I mean, we all take turns beating up on the piñata that is WWE, but that's a good one. That is a good story.
I don't think it's ever been addressed, and kudos for them to, especially for Mick Foley, to kind of think where we're at, because I think we just kind of we thirst for new stuff and having, you know, building new stars and having it work, but to have them come get their shine time, even though a lot of it didn't pay off accordingly. I don't think this generation knows Michelle McCool got slapped by Natalia on Total Divas 10 years ago, or I think it was Summer Rae. It was Summer Rae that got slapped. See, I got them confused, and I've been watching the whole time. So, but other than that, I thought the women's match was better than the men's. The Ivory stole the entire Royal Rumble for me. To the theme music, right when I heard the theme music, it took me right back to loving and hating it all the same. And her not giving up the mic is something they need to do more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, even the cheese, it was perfect. And she's 60 years old, and that's something that Sting tore down this year by showing, look, I could really, really still go. And I hope they keep her around, man.
Yeah.
But as far as that goes, I mean, it was no surprise Ronda, but she still got the pop they deserved. How did you feel about seeing your girl back?
Honestly, dude, it's time. You know, it's WrestleMania. You need your big stars to show up. And it's funny because now I feel like she's normalized in the universe, but her run was relatively short for the first
Yeah, but it's
run.
It's one of the best ever.
Absolutely. But people were starting to turn on her by the time that she was getting toward the end of it, so that when she does go to have a kid, she's like, yeah, if you guys hate me, perfect. I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'm going to go have a kid, make you miss me, and then make you hate me all over again. Well,
the way she did it, you know, I mean, she had some swagger about it. She laid into it. She was kind of funny about it, but that's a what have you done for me lately kind of thing. And I think one of the best things that WWF did is when Becky broke her nose, we went to that Survivor Series, and when she took that beating from Charlotte with the kendo stick and agreed to do that, to put that whole storyline over, I mean, for 1 year's in, that's just beyond the Call of Duty. And she definitely deserves to be around, but I think they need to have her struggle a little bit. Somebody on the chase is always a lot better than somebody with the belt. So,
well, now we're getting into an interesting aspect, which is how do you have both her and Brock and build them in different ways when they almost serve similar functions for their respective divisions?
Do you see the bottom of the board here, sir? I get segued out for jumping the gun. So
we'll get there. We'll get there. It's fine.
We'll come back. We'll come
you know, there are similar things you can say that are still different enough in nature. And I don't look ahead of the board. So it's like you're reading ahead. Cool story. Okay. Everybody turn and look at the nerd over here that's reading from the back of the book while we're over here going bit by bit.
I'm not going to get dyslexia shamed on this show, okay? 3/4 of the way, I go back up. Maybe I read the bottom paragraph first.
It's
But
fine. Let's transition to the next one. Oh, did you have one more before we transition, or where are you at?
2.8 stars.
2.8 stars. Oh, okay. Now we're getting. Are you going to go into the tenths now too?
3 stars. And it's a Santa Barbara Dons hat. It's a high school I played at. Santa Barbara. It's in the middle of California, right down the street from where you're at right now. So
it's very funny because your look on your face on this video, it definitely just reads like it says B. And I was about to be like, if you're going for Boston, I'm kicking you off this show. Like, you will never do that to California. Not on my show. No disrespect.
Was Tom Brady in the Rumble?
Man, no. And you know what? Not the GOAT. Hasn't been in the WWE Hall of Fame twice. Loser.
That's right.
Like Brett.
That's right.
GOAT. Thank you. One of my friends made a mention. He goes, how come Sean's not on that list? I was like, dude, didn't Sean win the like heavyweight title only like 3 times or so? Like, bro, he can't be.
He was the first Grand Slam champion because of the European title.
Bro, I go to Denny's all the time. I'm a Grand Slam champion. Okay, thank you.
Go. That is a Denny's to do the do.
Denny's to do the do indeed. What the fuck are we talking about do the do? Because that doesn't look good in the photo though. The preview photo, that looks like a very bad thing is happening. Mike, you were the one to clue us in on this. And I thank you during our live broadcast. We had a fun one over at our good friends Milton Arguelles Mixed Martial Arts Academy. And we were doing a live fight companion. But you put this in the comment section and it didn't pop up like it normally does. I had to look at it physically and see you tag me and I go, oh my God, thank you, Mike, for letting me know because I would have been clueless.
So not only WrestleMania and ponchos last year, now this shit's starting to happen. Michael Peters probably had the best week and he went to the Chiefs game. He loves the Bengals. He was at the Rumble. He didn't know. He saw the section get evacuated. Thought they were reloading the sign, had no idea that the splits are on fire. So what had happened was they had a Rumble and they had a dead spot match with Becky Lynch and Doudrop. I love Doudrop, aka Piper Niven. I've been watching her since What Culture Pro. I think she's super underrated, but the storyline didn't make any sense. It was 10 minutes too long. And I guess when Becky pointed, they started moving the sign. It caught on fire. I don't know the ramifications of it, but I just think either Danhausen really did have something to do with it. They're stealing his powers, or the Rumble was. That's going to be my question. Is it easy to say that the Rumble was cursed from this point forward?
I hope not, but I will kind of preview this, which is, you know how they always put up those photos that show, oh, guess they didn't sell out. All I could think of was that when I go, oh, guess they didn't sell Royal Rumble. Uh-oh.
They just decided not to sell that one side section, the middle section.
Because that's all you ever see now when people get there. Like, I want to know if that's the new bring your championship belt. Is it just who can get the first emptiest arena shot up on their social media is the new way of checking in to be like, no, nobody's here. And my thought is this: if you were a kid, go back to that time. You didn't care about gates. You cared about going to the show. If nobody's there, that means the wrestlers will pay to you. Like, they will go to you. And I don't know if you know this, but these things that like Kevin Owens is doing, that Becky's doing, that Roman's doing to the crowd, those are going to be lifers. Those kids who are on the social media fighting with them and having those interactions, that's why you go. And so to me, when people are like, oh, no one's there, it's like, well, fuck yeah, dude, that's great. I would go to the front and I would take those seats happily.
Macho Man pointed in the vicinity. I think out to the Coliseum or sports arena. He pointed in the vicinity. No, he pointed at me, dude. He pointed right at me. We had a moment. He was even. I really think that he wanted me to be his manager, but my dad was like tripping or something. You know what I mean?
Didn't cut through.
I 100% know that you could kind of have that connection. But on the flip side of it, remember when Brock threw the car door into the crowd and hit somebody?
Yeah.
Or when the Undertaker was coming out and the pyro went off and he had to stand in the cell with third-degree burns for 45 minutes. Like, there is that aspect, or Goldberg's pyro. There's that aspect of it. Does it lessen it, or does this make it better at this point? Like the WWE is struggling so hard that like, oh, the sign caught on fire. Well, I mean that's some content.
I mean, listen, dude. There's a part of me that now feels a little bad when I go, "Oh, the sign's on fire. I hope everybody's okay." They're like, "Oh, they evacuated it." Oh, that's a lot of money. Ugh, I don't like that at all. Like,
do they get refunds? Yeah, what are the ramifications? Do they get refunds? Did they get a shirt? Like I survived. I survived the WrestleMania sign fire. I survived Becky's point.
does the Undertaker then have PTSD as he's staring at it, going, "Oh no, not again, Michelle. I'm not letting you get out there,
Michelle." Yeah.
Somebody, I think they were saying, they're like, "Oh, the Undertaker should be in the Rumble," and I was like, "Yo, what a great extension of a retirement." I was like, the only thing that would beat that is actually Tom Brady being in there and being like, "Ha, I retired, picking up a new thing." And hold on, nobody's thought about this, because the byproduct of Tom Brady retiring is, what's Gronk gonna do? And if Gronk's not gonna do anything.
You didn't see? No, I saw you didn't see the commercial? He was all hyphy about it too. He's like, okay, America, I'm not going to the big game, so I'm going on vacation and Airbnb or Grubhub or something is letting you crash at my pad. And he's like, "Get the fuck out of here. We're leaving. Let's go." Like, he's so embarrassed. He doesn't know. I'm gonna go party and be at WrestleMania, probably, maybe not. I don't know. Vince, call me.
Like, exactly. He has so many fiestas to soy. So who knows, man? Good for him.
Fest. The Gronk Cruise. I think there is a Gronk Cruise, actually, which is...
Oh, God, no. You know what, dude? No more cruises for a bit. Jericho, you do your thing. I went on a cruise when I was 6, 7, and 8. And you know what? That was good enough for me. And the thought of being on a ship now, just, nah, I'm good.
Especially after all that. Anyway, so... You made this segment go long, so you got to segue this one.
Well, I will, because I'll say it the way you wanted me to say it, which was off air, which was beef. So what are we talking about beef here?
Vince loves big guys, man. And I was trying to explain to my girlfriend that when you have a heavyweight match, these are the two types of dudes you want in there. You want big, beefy, bruising Bobbies and Brocks. So in Boston. Vince loves the heavyweight match. So that's what we saw. We saw how long did it go? Like 7 minutes of Brock Lesnar dropping Bobby, all that beefy weight, all the 32-ounce prime cuts, just right on his head.
Oh, yeah. And
on his head.
So here's my question. Did he drop him on his head, or does Bobby not know how to take a actual suplex because he's normally the one being the meat to somebody else?
I just think we think that he has like a normal back. So we think that he's just going to do this. His back is a whole like structure of different jurisdictions and stuff. So it's the way I don't think he has a choice. Because when we went to PWG, I think you were with us, Jeff Cobb came out, and he was just and Max turns to me and goes, do you think he's uncomfortable just all the time? Just all the time. So I don't know if he can get that snap back on a proper suplex. So, I mean, I'm sure his neck's probably as wide as his back, so what does it matter?
I just realized what I want your brother to do. And you can pitch this to him if you want. I don't care. I think Max is the only person in the world who can host a talk show during a wrestling event. Like during an indie wrestling event. Not caring enough and be like, "Oh, we hate this. Anyway, you got a new movie coming out. Tell me a little bit about that."
Especially if Brian Cage, Michael Elgin, Jeff Cobb, any of those guys with a starter in there. Yeah, he could run right through it. He does that at he loves the Dodgers. He does that to the Dodgers too. Anytime anybody messes up, he'll just be like, "Ugh, idiot." Anyway, so You were on Fallon this week. It's like,
It's just, I don't think I've seen anybody host a show while a wrestling show is happening. And there's a lot of stuff that's needing to premiere. We're seeing people jump off of balconies and hitting cutters into their friends on the floor. Like, yo, it's great when I get my friends. And I told you, shout out Parrish. Parrish, who watched part of the Royal Rumble with us this weekend, was a lapsed fan or somebody who's missed a little bit of the wrestling current product. And he had so much fun that he messaged me. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck is that?
I tell you. It's a wrap. Next day, double date. Here we go.
Oh, my God. Why the fuck is it playing Louisiana jazz at me? I didn't know that was it. Do I have a boxing thing? Oh, my God. There's one that's called Crystals on this shit. Oh, God.
Yikes. That's almost, you know what? 10 times better than any of the WWE's current theme music for people walking out. Like, I would notice that. Oh, that's Raph. Oh, here he comes. There's Raph.
They're like, oh, Raph is either coming out or somebody left their car open and the car is trying to let them know they should shut the door. Let me say this. Okay, so yes, he ended up going to PWG. And the text that I got from him the next day when I was like, oh, how was it? He goes, dude, wrestling's really dangerous, man. Like, it was real. Like, I loved it. It was great, but shit, dude. I go, what happened? He goes, I was right near where that cutter happened. And I go, oh no. So I'm glad he was safe. I'm glad everybody's safe. I'm glad everybody works, but it made for some great photos as photographed by Esther Lynn, the fucking GOAT. Never sleep on her. Best Very photos good. Ever. And you were talking about meat. I'm going to circle it back to this. I don't know if this will play. I haven't rehearsed this, but I'm going to see if I can make it happen. This was without trying, okay? We weren't doing this on purpose, but when someone goes and starts doing this, it's almost impossible not to do it.
You guys are here for men slapping meat. That's why I watched wrestling as a kid. You could have your tactical.
Can you not see it?
No, you're just a play bar.
It's okay. Here's what I'm going to do. For those of you who are just watching, I will make it happen because I know how to make things happen on this show live. So give me 1 second. But yes, what I'm saying here is my man Kevin Ross, who just chimed in, we'll get a comment from him in a second here. But look at this. Include animated overlay. Here we go. How is it not playing the music, though? The fuck's happening here? Did the dubs already fucking take out my shit?
Get it out. It's Black History Month. None of that's right.
Hold on. Fuck you. We're going to make this. Now we're going to fucking finagle this shit. Nope, not multi-channel. We're going to unmute this. We're going to go higher. Fuck you. It's going to happen.
Live TV, folks.
We're going to do it live. Fuck you guys. All right. Next attempt. Here we go. I'm so committed to this bullshit that now, oh, you know what it is? I think I realize what it is. I think I realize what happened now. I don't know.
Well, after that, you guys can look at my blue blazer figure that I'm very proud of.
The blue blazer figure that you have is pretty dope, BT Dubs. I will give you that.
And the card's a little messed up, but RIP. Oh, no.
All right, let me go ahead and go back to live mode here. It's not going to publish.
You guys are here for men slapping meat.
I mean, you guys can hear it. That's the dumb part of this whole thing.
You could have your technical 5-star match.
You want your 30-minute classics?
Nope. Not me.
I want meat. Big meaty man slapping meat.
So, thank you.
This is one of my favorite parts of all time. I don't know how to react sometimes, Raph, but
I see a note here. It says Bobby was taking those Germans just terribly, and that comes from Kevin Ross, who was on the show, BT Dubs. So that's big.
What does he mean by terribly? Like he didn't embrace himself, or
look into the camera and ask him because he'll respond. I'm sure.
He looked like he was kind of over it. But what do you mean to be? What do you mean? I think he was just over it. I think he kind of got annoyed at some point with it.
I mean, yeah, dude, I'll be honest with you. After the second suplex, I'm probably looking at you like, dog, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like,
especially if he had no input on the match, because that's how a Brock Lesnar match has to go kind of these days. So,
but having said that, though, Bobby Lashley now has a win over Brock Lesnar, which, if you think about it, 15 years ago would not be the headline.
No, it would even be thought of. That's why when that match first was even how bad they wanted to hype it up as a dream match. And I was like, yeah, that would have been cool 10 years ago. Like
So-
my girlfriend was even like, Brock Lesnar looks so old and boring. I'm like, first of all, he's the most believable champion that the WWF's ever have. And second of all, if you saw him when he was young, it would have been it's a wrap. He was an anomaly. And then Bobby Lashley's still kind of an anomaly. I think Big E would be, if there was no Bobby Lashley, Big E would be probably where Bobby Lashley is. But
That's
like I
true.
said, that dude's ginormous.
So Kevin chimed in, and he has a note for you here, Mike. And he says, it almost looked like he was landing sideways. Definitely looked over taking those
that's
bumps.
what it was. Kudos to Kevin. That's exactly what it was. He was completely over it.
So while we
I
have
mean-
Kevin here, though, Mike, you were telling me that
Oh, boy.
you had feelings over the weekend because you're my co-host for this one. So would you like to send them directly to the person who was co-anchoring with me this weekend?
Oh, why do you call me out like that? That was
Well,
a
because
private-
he's here. You're
I
the
know,
one that
I
was
got
telling
it.
me off air, and you were like,
It
"What?
was
What does
like,
this mean?"
so I got jealous for like 30 seconds. I told you.
Why?
Now I know how Kevin feels about me sometimes. Which was thrown at me on the air for 2 minutes, that CM Punk episode. But I don't know. I felt like I was hanging out with my family. I felt like, I should be there. This pandemic's kept us apart for so long. You know what I mean? And you're sitting there drinking beers with the homies. And then you told me the story about how he got reacclimated and refound
Well,
love.
our
with-
buddy Parrish. So Kevin is somebody who is undefeated. I should point out here, undefeated in MMA and in kickboxing. Huge wrestling fan, and he knows the product. So the X Factor was going to be Parrish, and when we looked at Parrish, I was like, well, I know he's enthusiastic, so let's see what we get out of him. Dude, Parrish was the best one of us that night. Like Parrish.
No, well, Kevin went to PWG.
No. That's Parrish. Parrish went to PWG.
All right.
So Parrish was the
And
lapsed
Kevin-
fan who
Kevin-
came back and said, "Oh shit, this is so much fun." And we go, "Good for you, man. We're so proud of you to be back." And Parrish goes, yeah, it's great. I'm going to go to PWG." And we go, "Wait, what?"
How about
Shit.
this rap? For you putting me on the spot, hey Kevin, you're not even his favorite Kevin.
Oh shit, don't do that to him.
Yeah, you want to put me on the spot, make me try to get you wiggle your way out of this Kevin feud.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Kevin's already, look, I love that Kevin is always in business for himself because he's already started. He says, "Hey man, WrestleMania, us live 3 reacting, book it." So I should tell Kevin this. I have a real issue here. I was telling someone,
Personality.
no. Because, oddly, we had a couple of our friends who said they were considering like zooming in, sort of like, how you're not here, you could zoom in to our live broadcast. It's a different feel. It's like cheersing you from far away. Like you're up for coming, and we will do one of those. I have no issue with that. And now we have a spot, so that's great. But in the jiu-jitsu world, there's 80cc trials on the same weekend as WrestleMania. And nobody has asked me to coach them yet. But I think somebody might.
Yeah, like
And-
the day before.
But here's the issue, though, Mike. They're in Vegas. The trials are in Vegas. But if I go to the trials, I can't do both. And I really want to do a live broadcast for ADCC trials. So I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. So, Kev, what I'll say to you is we'll definitely do something. I don't know if it's Mania, but we're doing something soon.
Me and Karen about to start a side project?
You guys can go, because here's the thing, Kev, that I think you understand. So Mike was fine being the side host, the side piece to Kevin Phillips on Verbal Tap. But the minute it happened to him, he was like, no, wait, no, don't do that to me. Wait, how could this happen to me? I thought we had a good show going on.
This is the best segue. This is the best segue to a double date.
Okay,
Now
so we're
I
going
have
to
a
double.
Now I have a Kevin and you have a Kevin. It's worked out so perfectly. I didn't
Okay.
even realize. You want to talk about feelings, Raph?
Okay, what are the feelings here, sir?
No, I feel. I mean, we went from you trying to be put on the spot because I was a little jealous to me gaining in this situation. So,
Oh, that's fine. It's
so
good
my
for you.
question with that dumb joke into the double date is, that's basically what this match was, right? It was Beth Phoenix and her husband Edge wearing matching outfits to go hang out and shoot the shit and shoot with matching outfits with Miz and Maurice.
Yes.
Now, my question to you is: Is that a better date versus the Leonardo DiCaprio empty theater Star Wars date? If
It's a good
if
question.
those are your two choices, if you're going on a date, it's either in front of 37,000 people and you're going to have to memorize these wrestling moves and fall out of your chonies the entire time and fix them for in front of all these people, or you have to sit through, I think it was the first three that Leo did.
Yeah.
And watch me do Michael Cera with the lightsaber.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. There's a lot of stories that I think have endeared us to Leo DiCaprio, but I thought that was the most relatable. And I was like, yeah, I'm that good looking too. So good for me. Because I would do the same thing. In fact, I have in certain ways, especially when you start realizing, like, I lucked out that Kelly's into this shit. Like, even when I put it on Peacock, she's like, what's happening now? And I go, oh, it's a WrestleMania day. And she goes, okay, that's cool. Well, I'll bring some wings or something. Because every so often she looks and she'll go, how many of these fucking events is Vince doing this year? And I go, babe, don't get us started on this. There's too much business to discuss. Having said that.
Well, I have the accelerated version.
Which is?
My girl, my lady friend, Kat, whenever she sees WWE on, she goes, and she calls AEW AE. So she goes, when is AE on? And that's, I mean, keep her right there. You forget about it. Like, give me the real cool.
Could you imagine her cheering though in the sections where she's like, AE, and they go, no, it's AEW. She's like, no, you guys are doing it wrong.
Thunder, Jushin Thunder. So that match was just there, I guess. I don't know if I really paid attention to it. I mean,
we had a hard time with this match, but I'll give you my thoughts. Number one, a lot of babysitters were called this. So I was very happy for those babysitters that made bank that day. Two, you're okay. I would say, here's what you have to know about this one. It gave me a few things. Number one, Maurice running around like an actual Looney Tunes character. I've never seen a person do this to run away from another person in WWE, and I lost my shit. Three, it's fine. I think I was okay with how it all played out because it was really dumb and silly, and we needed the palate cleanser because it was the, in between the Rumbles, and sure, there you go. And I just kind of root for Edge, and Edge put out this post that really made it worth it the next day on his social media where he said, you know what? It's just so much fun being able to work with my wife and do this and go this and do that. And I go, and we just dropped off the kids. And I
hashtag get somebody that looks at you like this when you're walking out at WrestleMania 2022.
Absolutely.
Hashtag
get you a wife that got the same hairstylist from Tina Turner's Thunderdome. Get you a wife that's basically coming out here and crushing a finishing move better than you are. Like, yeah, dude.
You want me to grow a better goatee? You want me to? I will.
Don't challenge me. Don't ask me twice. So yeah, man, I was really into it. I had a lot of fun with the absurdity of it. It's not like you had any expectations for it though. So you could just see it and you go, yeah, it happened.
This one or Cena and Bella? Cena and Bella, right? Because of the build-up.
Yeah, that was better.
All right.
Moving on the board here.
I made that. I can't sing the tune.
You cannot sing it.
No, waiting. Don't rush.
So why are we royal rushing here, sir?
Did you keep track of any of the real minutes that were supposed to play by the entire time?
No. Okay, so were you doing an actual count on the seconds that were supposed to be?
No, but it was very, very noticeable. I think Max called it out at some point. He was like, just like a guy had gotten in the ring, had already done his entrance. He's like, they're already coming out. And then I started to kind of notice that. And I even said the comment is like, then why did Becky and Doudrop go for so long? I don't understand why they couldn't shave any of that at that point, or any of the commercials. Or I didn't really pay attention to the flow of all that, but it seemed kind of, it did seem kind of rushed. And on the same kind of token, It's just these drawings are magical. I mean, Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn pull 10 and 11 back to back. I mean, so the tag teams get. I mean, it's just what are the odds, Raph, that keeps happening? Jeez, I mean, they might as well go put all their money on the Buccaneers, right?
So, of course, here's what I want to bring up, though. So, obviously, there was some oddness on the timing. I thought it got really weird when two people were walking out at the same time. I would look
When was
over.
that?
It didn't happen. I'm just saying that's how fast it went, where it was just like, hey, listen, package deal. Both of you guys walk out together. I am very pleased that we can play by our own rules for certain elements, but I'm even more pleased that your brother, of course, is the person that goes, that wasn't full seconds. No, they should have gotten their full time. They didn't. Like, to me, there are production rules that you have to play by with, but if I could say something really real about the Royal Rumble, we all got places to be, bro. Like, if you want to speed this shit up, that's okay. I'll tell you who would have loved you would have sped it up years ago. Ric Flair probably could have looked at you and been like, hey, I got to get married to my 9th wife already. Like, I know we talk a lot about Jennifer Lopez getting multiple rings and going after Tom Brady here, but Ric Flair this week, I wouldn't say it's a surprise, but when he puts out a post that goes, in odd caps, not all caps, odd caps. I just want to thank my 5th wife. We've come to an agreement and we're released. I was like, this is a better exit note than him versus the Dubs.
Our space.
Yeah. I was like, what was the reason for the split? Was it she realized she married Ric Flair? Did she watch Dark Side of the Ring and go, I have issues?
I didn't even think about that. Wow. Probably they've just been fighting about it since then, right?
Yeah. And listen, you could give me any excuse in the world and I'd probably be like, yeah, that makes sense for Ric Flair. Actually, yeah, I probably wouldn't have either. So
back to the Rumble, I really think when you have Johnny Knoxville doing the best spots in the Rumble and Bad Bunny getting the best understanding pop, then they're kind of in trouble with the roster. Not that the guys aren't any good, but just how they're portraying the guys. I think maybe one feud got paid off with Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss and Drew. But like Max, I have Kat in my ear going, who likes McIntyre the entire show? I don't understand McIntyre. He's a bland, vanilla babyface, and I don't have the time to tell the story because that's what's happening now. So,
may I address something though?
It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. We have some rumors, and I think you're actually going to come up to them very quickly, but I do want to bring this up. Are we ready to just fast track Bad Bunny to the Hall of Fame? Because I want this to be the quickest. Did a WrestleMania, did a Rumble at WrestleMania, induct him in the Hall of Fame already.
I'm sorry. Knoxville gets inducted immediately. Sorry. That shorter time. He gets, especially with the articles coming out, how everybody loves him in the back. He's willing to do anything. He makes everybody laugh. He'll stand and be last in catering.
Okay, but did he get a mask from Rey Mysterio? No. Did he do a Canadian destroyer? No.
True.
Did he take an F5? No. Bad Bunny is fucking just putting up the bar for anybody who wants to come do this shit. Like, yeah, it was cool to see, what's his face? Pat McAfee, like, whatever, dude. Very much respect for you. You had a fun actual match. Actual great work there. However, Bad Bunny is he's fucking crushing it. And you know what? What's up, man? What are you going to ask me?
Brock Lesnar, Bad Bunny.
It's the match we need.
WrestleMania.
I
Does
put that on our Twitter,
outdraw?
fam. I put that on our Twitter the next day. I literally went on there and I said, no, this is the match we deserve at WrestleMania, because he took that bump pretty well. And here's the best part. It's the details. When Brock was throwing him over, Bad Bunny was holding on to that rope just with a little bit of hope, but he did the sell because he wasn't going to rob Brock Lesnar. Everybody gets over. I was just looking at it and I'm thinking like, man, on the broadcast, I think I said Bad Bunny versus Rey Mysterio Jr. was the match we needed to make, but you can't have two faces go against each other. And
Right.
if you're going to turn Rey heel as much as you can, it's him and Dominic. And we didn't even get that spot. So did you
Well,
also
they did
have...
when
Oh, okay, go ahead.
when Eddie beat Brock. That was kind of the same thing. Smaller guy, agile, bumping around for him. I think it would make sense, especially throwing some Bad Bunny training and dancing videos. You know, then I think I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. My brain's on a
You're okay.
little lag right now, but
So let's transition, because I don't know that there's a ton more to say about the Rumble rather than the implications of it or the people behind it. But right here, say it ain't. No, this photo makes me sad.
say it ain't Sophie. Kofi almost landed that. Hard to do. I mean, in the moment, that was hard to come to grips with. And there was a moment that you thought, no, they're somehow gonna fix this. And then when they got to the replay, you were like, don't. And then you saw the second foot hit, and you're just like, God damn it. But I hate to say this, but good on them for shooting it through and making him leave, regardless of what. You got to give them a little credit for that, at least, to kind of shotgun the rest of the Rumble on that tip, because I guess there's supposed to be spots for him and Big E, but we've been so spoiled with these Kofi spots. Some of them don't make sense all the time, but we've been so spoiled that you just think it's a given. Well, how's he going to do it? And John Morrison was like, yeah, I could have. They had to let me. I could have, but they gave me a squirt gun. So you seem kind of bummed on it, Raph. I mean, are you going to be okay about this?
I don't think so, man. It's going to be hard to come back from. Because you know what it's like? It's like saying, hey, everybody, we got Picasso here. He's going to draw. Oh, shit, I spilled the paint. Well, you know what? Come back next year. We only do a Picasso once a year. Also, he's going to die at a very young age. No big deal.
That's my favorite Family Guy bit, where something happens in Peter's brain and there's one brain cell left, and it's in a full library, and it has glasses on, and it takes 2 steps and the glasses fall off and break. And he's like, oh shit. So yeah, I don't know if it matters though, man. I mean, he wasn't gonna win.
No, and I think that's the flexibility of the post. So when we're talking about rules and regulations that we want to uphold, a little weird when they're like, is it 60 seconds, 90 seconds, however long it is, fuck it, we'll just fudge it as we go. Then when you go kayfabe on him, it's like, we have rules here, sir. There are some standards that we keep. And it's like, I'm sure Kofi was looking at him like, bro, you know that these things are... Fine. Okay, fine. I'll go to the back.
Well, that's the whole, you've been eliminated, but you still Psycho Sid, Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle, get back in the ring and cause havoc, even though you've been eliminated. And we know it's bullshit, but in story, it's fine. So it's just one of those fine lines. But they've double feeded so many times that they had to cut the camera angle and make it feasible for the story, that they had no out on this one. And that was very...
Yeah. No, I mean, they put themselves into a corner on this one. And I would say the one thing that I would like as a result of this small little problem that we faced here is that Kofi put up his explanation. I'm all for that. That's fine. Tell us your story. Speak your truth. But this phraseology of you got to risk it for the biscuit needs to come to an end. I don't need anybody to tell me any sort of bit. Like, what the fuck is the biscuit? And why are we risking ourselves for the biscuit? And more importantly, is there not any other rhyme that we can actually advance here that tells a better story other than he's got to risk it? No, he doesn't. He really doesn't.
Do you want to Venn diagram this, sir? It's right in front of you.
Yes, of course.
The biscuit gets you to the nookie, which gets you to the cookie. What? The cookie.
Ew!
What? the cookie, so you can roll and roll and roll and roll. Say, bro, I am a cowboy. Oh no, is that? Hey, hey.
It was very similar. They might as well have been the same new metal remix on that one.
It's bound to happen. It's bound to fucking happen. By the way, Limp Bizkit will get this done. I promise.
Yes, of course. When Limp Bizkit got around to the fact that they were making the Undertaker's theme song, and you realized it's just the new metal hokey pokey, and you said, "I don't, bro. You could have written anything else." But Wes is shredding really well on this guitar, so I'll give you that.
Has anybody ever considered that song a banger?
I don't know, dude, but you know that Taker went back to the locker room and goes, "This is my jam. I'm feeling this one. This is the American Badasses theme song."
Fred Durst got bars.
So, okay.
I think recognize that bar game, bro.
I think it's time to transition to this
Got
last
5 minutes.
one.
Let's go. You got to be somewhere.
I got to be out of here very quickly, but look at this. What does this say? Oh, man. This Shane look, by the way, kudos to you for this find, because this look is when you get the oldest man auditioning for playing Kevin McAllister in a movie. But yes, tell us about what Shane McMahon is doing here with the WWE UFC OMAC.
What wasn't Shano doing? So I guess he's getting a lot of heat because, and I visualize it too, that I guess he had power over that, and I guess he was bickering with everybody in the back how he needed to be in at least the Final Four. And I thought the surprise would be enough, and I just don't understand why. I don't know if it's vengeance, I don't know if it's daddy issues, but he has to know that kind of fucked everything, right? Does he know that what he did, or does he care? Does he even care that it just watered down so much? And my second question to you is, does Vince really think piggybacking off the UFC this hard at this point in time is gonna work? What is that?
Keep going.
No, I was asking you a question.
No, I have an answer for you, and the answer is this. So I think a lot of people are wondering, like, what is Shane O'Mac doing back here? We actually have a photo of when Shane heard that something happened to Triple H. So this is exclusive, but this was the actual photo that we saw of Shane O'Mac.
So good.
Walking back in. And this is him realizing, oh, maybe Triple H isn't here anymore. Maybe him and Steph have to take a little sabbatical, a little siesta, and he's back. So,
all you need to have is a steak and a cigar. Just handed to him. Like, just thought about you. Back on your feet.
Because I thought about it. They're like, Shane produced the Rumble. And I go, who wants that on their resume? And then you think about it and you go, yeah, Kevin had a really bad reaction to him eliminating Kevin Owens. And I've thought to myself, like, yeah, you're right. Except I think they have proven that Shane has kind of drew some people back. It's weird. I don't get it. But I think that we've given him like, oh, hey, man, I remember when you went through some glass and you fell off of some stuff. Like, I guess it's kind of interesting. But I think they put him in on the McMahon actual level of, all right, if Vince isn't going to come out and Stephanie's not out here, he's representing the family, and there's still an intrigue on, oh, what is the family going to do? So I get that part, but him producing the Rumble and then having these stiff shots that then are powerful enough to eliminate people in the Rumble is, it's a little weak. But if there's anywhere you can get away with mysticalness of being able to beat people you shouldn't, I guess the Rumble does fit. It's just like, bro. Right. Once this was released that you got power to run this thing.
Well, half of his gimmick is a big bump, and he's suffering from the same thing as about the women's Rumble. It's in that generation to where people started falling off and might not have known what the Ministry of Darkness is when he was young. He came back and started, he was there forever, and then he went away to China to do his I think it was motorcycles or UFC.
Whatever the thing he did.
Like whatever failed, like a video game company or some shit. Then he came back, which was huge. That first comeback was awesome. My cousin Austin, Simba text message, Simba's back. Which I mean, still nobody remembers Simba now. You know what I mean? That's such. Nobody's gonna give you Pete Gas or Rodney reference. You know what I mean? So I think, but. That all goes away when you hear this shit. Now he's like John Laurinaitis. Like now he's guys that he just wants to put his family over and to have it be the new Hogan trope where it has to be all about him. I don't know if we need to keep paying attention to this backstage shit, man.
Yeah.
So overall, WWE didn't know who they were. They were having daddy issues. They were having identity crisis. They had infidels with their belts and their flags storming the Capitol and their TNA hardcore country rhetoric. You know what I mean? They put that on our soil. How dare them? But it was historical too for that side. So good on them. It was all the fuck over the place. And I think they lost track of normal flow of what wrestling should be inside that thing. So I'm 2.5 stars. Not even, two stars. Bad Bunny. Johnny Knoxville was amazing. I can't think of anything outside of that kind of. They could have even done a spot with R-Truth and the Jackass crew are chasing him, Preston and Wee Man, just for a little, you know what I mean? They could have. There was just no. I feel like they just were like, we have this PLE. And we're just going to give it to them. And, I mean, we'll just stick to the story that we've been doing for 7 years. So, what do you think while the sun goes down on me, Raph? This kind of, I mean, there's actually sunset on me.
I like that it had a nice metaphorical aspect to it. Raph, the sun's going down on me. It's getting real low out there, big guy.
Yeah. Crickets over here. Shit.
Here's my general feeling. I had fun at the Royal Rumble because I had fun people to be around. And I think that really does change how things go. Because I really was thinking if I watched the whole thing by myself, I probably would have been a little like, yeah, this is pretty whack. Here's the thing that I think they need to build into it more is I think now that you know that Royal Rumble is your betting, Royal Rumble is your get together with people. Like, WrestleMania, you have to explain storylines. Royal Rumble, you can bring in civilians who have no clue of what's happening. Right, and I think that you wasting those opportunities are the ones where we all go, that's kind of a bummer. So if I'm the Dubs and I'm looking for creative ways to reintegrate those sort of things, you're still the standard for this format. So lean in on that a little bit. Like, yeah, let's do some side bets. Let's get some people in there. Let's actually make use of it. And I think Bad Bunny, Johnny Knoxville, oddly, Johnny Knoxville was a whole bunch of like groans for the past few weeks, but I thought he did a great job getting in there, and he fits because he's got a movie to plug and that brand and his brand work together. So that's a good step. I would say, and I'm going to echo my man, Kevin over here, which he said, he's like, put over the new talent. And I thought, yeah, that still seems like something they have a hard time doing. So those are just kind of my prevailing last thoughts here on that.
Let me ask you one thing real quick. Do you think advertising Bad Bunny would have been better? Do you think advertising Ronda Rousey? Because that's the draw. That's how you're going to, that's the old theory of if you advertise them, you're going to have the build for them to want to see that instead of having it be a surprise. So I think there's a fine line to how you really deal with that.
So honestly, I felt like for this was the closest that the Dubs gets to the CM Punk. We're not going to confirm that rumor, but we're not in the business of displeasing people, because they weren't saying like, don't expect to see Ronda. And with Brock, it's a logical thing of like, yeah, he's just going to enter himself in. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, those things don't bug me because the whole gimmick of Royal Rumble is it's supposed to be a commercial for WrestleMania. Now we just have other interruptions that somehow go in there. Like if the actual Royal Rumble is the commercial, then I want to say like these next two events, the Elimination Chamber and Paycheck, whatever they call these next two ones, those are essentially the little crawls that happen that like come up to go, hey, check out me this week on Law and Order, and then they fade out. Like that's what those two things are.
Seinfeld vision.
Indeed. So those are my thoughts. Do you have any final moments or things that you would like to say before we come to a close here, sir?
Yeah, no, I fully forgot, man. We posted that meme. If Cena doesn't come out dressed as a peacemaker, we will be mildly disappointed. How does that not work? And I was telling you, Cena comes out dressed as a peacemaker. There's 6 dudes in the ring. The music hits, and everything stops in the middle of the ring. And they just said, "Do you really do you want him dressed?" All confused, like, why are we dancing? It would be such a PWG thing to do. I would love it, but the fans would shit all over it. But it would be, I mean, why the fuck not? So Peacemakers is great. My friend produces it. I just found out when I was having a really bad day. A guy I went to high school with. He's actually one of my friends. I'm really good friends with his cousin. Having a bad day. Produced by the kid you hit in the face at one time. I was just
no.
One of the only people I've ever punched. I was out of my jurisdiction completely. It was New Year's 2000. But
well,
that's not going to be a claim to fame, John. I'm really good job. That's a really good.
I feel
really
very sad that we're not going to get that booking. So. But, you know, hey, at the very least, he's doing good for himself.
No, that's good. So, based on that, no. Again, Royal Rumble, always awesome. Even if it is shitty outcomes, like you said, it brings people together, puts that buzz in the air. I thought to myself, like, another one. It's been, I mean, just, we're getting old. We're getting old, sir. And it's a nice anonymity to have, to be able to fall back on that.
Yeah. Here's what I'll tell you guys. My final thought for this whole process is I am excited. We will do more of these things though. So we'll obviously have more shows like this. Feel free to give us feedback, thoughts that you might have. No big deal. But in the future, you'll probably see us to get together to do Fight Companion, where we'll either do it digitally or we'll watch an event. Or who knows? We're up for trying some things here in the future. But I can tell you my deepest thanks over to Milton and his academy. It was a great time, man. Like, I would tell people, like, do yourself a solid this year, if nothing else, because we're only in February now. This year, make it a special project of yours to try and bring in a lapsed fan for one event and see if you don't create some magic, because I think that's one of the great things. Whether you think they're more attuned to the AEW, that's fine too. I don't care what you bring them back to, because seeing my guy Parrish just lose his shit, clap, aggressively get up and yell and cheer at some of these wrestlers, it was like, yeah, that's why we do this. This is so much fun. It's so great to do these things. So that is my task to everybody here, because I think it'll extend your life for the years that Vince has taken away from you.
Also, on that note, I'll send you the post, but this guy on Twitter randomized an AEW.
I saw
Royal
that,
Rumble. It's a great read. It's something that it's super entertaining, and the essence of that, I know, it's still the same thing, kind of all in all. And what I took from it is seeing the names, the guys. You're like, oh, it's like you kind of wanted that to all be intertwined on Sunday, so there's still that kind of excites me, as well as the possibilities of that kind of fuck these dream matches, man. I want more imagination and more thought put into this kind of how they that cutter too. Go look up that cutter from PWG, because talk about imagination.
Oof.
Holy shit,
that was so good.
So,
well, folks, here's what we're going to do. We're going to call it a day for us here, but we'll be back sooner than later, probably within the next week, if not a week, 2 weeks. But it's great hearing from you guys. We much love and appreciate all of you. If you don't do it already, give us a like and a subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can find us at Heel Section or Real Heel Section. Just look for the photo. You'll know it's us. Because if it's somebody else, don't follow them. They're a shitty heel section. There are some that gave up. And that's what I love. When I looked on iTunes and I saw that there was another heel section, I go, and then they gave up. And I said, yes. So.
Well, It's kind of like the Ghostbusters and the real Ghostbusters back in the day. It's like, well, it's still okay. I'll deal with the.
It's just more so
on.
like,
I mean,
you're
it's
no
on.
Bill Murray, sir. Get out of here.
It's on. I mean, I like the animation style a little better.
Absolutely.
So, I guess. All right,
So,
guys.
Anyway, my
Good fun.
appreciation to Mike, my appreciation to all of you. And again, big thanks to our friends over at Milton O'Grail's Mixed Martial Arts Academy, which I will be teaching at tonight. So that's why I got to get out of here. I love you guys. Give us a like and a follow. And it's been a great day. We'll see you guys later.
What doesn't the guy do? Do sweet meat.